Hello and welcome back to the Quarantine Cricket Championship. I'm Brian Jackson, and today is day 4 of the first Ashes test between Australia and England. Playing is Australia, in England of course, and the match pretty evenly poised as we head into the penultimate day. Anderson bowling to Joe Burns here. Australia leading by 2 runs with all 10 wickets in hand in the third innings of the match, so all 3 results certainly on the table as Anderson starts with a maiden. Warner's gotten out of the blocks pretty quickly, it must be said. He only needed to survive 1 over last night and he somehow managed to score 8 runs. And he's playing the same way today. So, from my perspective, as the captain of Australia for this match, sorry Tim Paine, what I'll be looking to do is bat all day on day 4 and try to get around 300 runs ahead, hopefully by sort of the first hour of day 5, and then use the rest of the match to try and bowl England out. I think the way that the game has gone, it's going to be difficult to win for either side, but of course we have the advantage of bowling 4th. As Burns gets that away, that'll be his first runs of the innings. And so, obviously, if I'm looking at scoring about 300 runs in 7 hours, the run rate isn't a big concern, but someone will need to get those runs. So I'll be looking at Dave Warner especially after this initial period is over to really take the game to the English bowling attack, who have been a bit up and down this match so far. Anderson and Broad have been good, as Burns pulls that through the onside for 4 runs. Glorious shot. Yeah, Anderson and Broad have been alright, but they've been very much overused by the England skipper, Joe Root. Warner gets a single. I'm also interested in the impact that Moeen will have. As probably one of the better bowlers in this England side, you'd hope that he gets more of a crack as Anderson beats the bat of Burns. Well bowled. Burns manages to rotate the strike. No wicket for 23. So the strategy for England will obviously be pretty simple. Just bowl Australia out early. Chase the smallest target possible. They'd probably be thinking they can skittle us for under 200. Just given the way the pitch is playing and the strength of their bowling attack, home conditions. But it's been a pretty good start for the Australians, especially from that man Dave Warner. And Broad has just been a little bit off this innings so far. Wouldn't blame him if he was tired after all the overs he was bowling on day 1 and 2. And that looks like it's come off the pads of Joe Burns. Should come back for 2, and they do. Well bowled, well played. So both openers for Australia did very poorly in the first innings. So they'll be looking to make a statement on this series. Burns pulls that away for one. And Joe Burns, you'd have to think of all the Australian players, his spot is the least secure. No wicket for 29. He's playing pretty well though, as the score moves to 30 without loss. And just interesting to see Broad going over the wicket here with a leg gully in place and a short leg. I don't know if I like that from England. I believe Warner was out with Anderson going around the wicket in the first innings. No wicket for 30. And Burns gets that through the infield. Will just be the one though. Yeah, see, this is a much better angle, I think. Certainly worked for the English in real life in this series. Warner only made 95 runs across the 5 tests. I'll be hoping that he does a bit better than that in this series. So the bowler's just tightening up now. No wicket for 31. As Broad continues into his 6th over. And so far you'd have to say that England might be a little frustrated with how they've started. Early wickets are essential. And 40 minutes or so into the day's play, still yet to dislodge these openers. That's well bowled. None for 32. This is interesting. Ben Stokes coming into the attack pretty early on day 4. Anderson wasn't really getting the job done, although he's looked better than Broad so far. Burns manages to pick the gap for a single. So Warner's scoring has just slowed down in recent overs. Hasn't had anything to put away. But he manages to take the single, moving the score to none for 34. So Broad now coming around the wicket too. Will this pay off for the English? It's a good shot, just the one. And with this left-hand, right-hand opening combination, you'd hope that they rotate the strike, take singles wherever possible, disrupt the rhythm of the bowlers and the fielders. None for 35. As Stokes full and wide and put away by Warner. Won't quite reach the boundary. Pretty slow outfield here, but they will come back for a third, and they get home safely in the end. Good running. I believe this is Joe Burns' first Ashes series in England. Maybe his first altogether. Big series for him. No wicket lost for 39 runs, as we see the first of Jofra Archer this morning. Archer probably unfortunate not to get more of a crack in the first innings. Maybe his fitness is so poor that Joe Root just doesn't want to take the risk. I guess he is most effective in these short, sharp spells. But Burns able to find the gap there, and looks like they're going to get another 3. Well run. And Warner defends solidly. None for 42. That's well played by Burns. He's picked the gap with ease. On the back foot, pushes it through the offside, gets 4 runs for it. That's a bit of a loose shot, I'd say, for this stage of the match. That's better. Nothing wrong with a good old-fashioned cricketing stroke. Four from it, it's none for 46. And that'll be drinks on day 1. So, just crack open another cold one. Hope you've all brought drinks. Pretty hot day out there in the stands. And they're rotating the strike pretty easily here. Good to see as an Australian fan. Much better line there from Archer, squaring the batsman up. Good finish to the over from Archer. It's none for 49. Stokes into his 4th over. Going over the wicket now to Warner. I'm just interested whether this is a deliberate strategy to disrupt the rhythm of Warner at the crease, constantly switching the angle of the bowlers. And with that no ball, 50 runs up for Australia, and with it the 50 partnership between Dave Warner and Joe Burns. So, I was going to say this is exactly the start the Australians wanted, and then someone in the slips has dropped an absolute sitter. Oh, and Stokes beats the bat the very next ball. So, it's all happening out there. As soon as the 50 partnership is brought up, the Australians have gone mad. A dropped catch, how costly will that be? And then play and miss, just past the edge of the bat. So Stokes unfortunate there not to get a breakthrough. And as we saw in England's innings, dropped catches can be extremely costly. Burns was dropped pretty early on by Labuschagne, went on to make a century. Burns pulls that away for 1. But the fact is, Australia has survived with their wickets intact, and that's just an excellent shot from Warner. Looked like it was pitching outside off, but he just steps across, plays it through the onside for 4 runs. So just as Stokes was looking threatening, he's been brought off. And Anderson comes in and starts bowling pies on the pads, flicked away, 4 runs. What are you doing, Joe Root? If England ends up losing this match, a lot of blame has to rest on the shoulders of Joe Root. This has been one of the worst captaincy performances I've seen. Of course, I am playing against an AI, playing as Joe Root, not the actual Joe Root himself. I just want to make that clear for everyone. I'm not criticising the real Joe Root, just this virtual one who's letting runs flow at the moment as Warner drives first ball of the Archer over for 4 runs. That's pretty close. Not out. As you can see, struck outside the line, missing off stump fairly comfortably in the end, but some promising signs here for the England bowlers. Just the 4 from the over, no wicket for 69. As Anderson bowls to Burns. Didn't look to get all of that, Joe Burns, but gets through for 1. And again, just the change of angle to Dave Warner. I don't know if they have a clear strategy for how to get him out, but particularly with Anderson bowling, who dismissed him in the first innings going around, and he might have done so again here. No. Appeal for catch behind not given by umpire Murray Erasmus. So England's starting to put some pressure on the Australians here. There's been a few chances in recent overs. Now Archer going around the wicket to Burns. That's also interesting, particularly with no leg gully in place, no short leg. It restricts the scoring though. Still no wicket for 70. Pressure very much on the Australian batsmen now. Dots are piling up. Warner not doing anything rash just yet, as Anderson is finally going around the wicket to him. But he is able to get a single and relieve some of the pressure. It's no wicket for 71, as we see the first of Sam Curran this innings. Not the best start from him. And they're coming back for 2. They should get there all right. And you wonder if a direct hit would have got him there. Looked a pretty tight second run, but they got there to their credit. And Warner with another single to his name. That's well played by Burns. He seems to look very comfortable off the back foot, playing those drives through the offside. And he has a wonderful knack for finding the gaps in these packed offside fields. As you can see, there's 4 men out there, pretty close to the boundary for Burns. Doesn't faze him. He won't put the shot away. As Warner flicks that off his pads for 1 run. Burns works a single to third man to move into the 40s. I've been impressed with the way he's gone about it this innings. A lot of question marks surrounding his place in the team. As Warner, excellent shot. Looks like he just pushes that one down the ground and it goes all the way to the boundary for 4. As we see the first of Moeen. Here's danger. Well played by Burns, just the single. So as much as I've criticised Joe Root this match, I think this is a good call. 13 minutes till lunch, bring the spinner on, day 4 pitch, turning a bit, see what it's doing. So far, all that's doing is dots and ones. Warner getting down the other end. That's a full toss. Probably deserved to be put away there, to be honest. None for 86. 10 minutes until the long break. as Warner plays that well. Just the single though. So Anderson as well, going around the wicket to Burns. Don't know how I feel about that. Don't know how I feel about that delivery either. So Burns not being baited into a shot, as that one just beats the bat. So looks like the pressure of surviving until lunch might just be getting to Joe Burns a bit. He's not playing any shots. Warner also looking to defend. Five minutes now until the break. Can Australia survive without losing a wicket? Warner taking the single, inching closer to a first half century for the series. It's no wicket for 88. 2 minutes left in the session, so probably the last over here. Broad coming back on. And Warner probably could have let that one go. Happy to get down the other end, I'd imagine. So Joe Burns will have 2 balls to survive here until the long break. And when one of them is a full toss, you can't say that enough pressure has been applied. And he leaves that one through with ease, bringing us to lunch on day 4 with Australia making a very strong start. They're no wicket for 89, Warner 45, Burns 41. Pick of the bowlers, probably Stokes to be honest. He should have had the wicket of Dave Warner, but the catch was put down, and as we see here the playing conditions, it's turning more now than it was on day 1 and 2. This bounce has remained uneven for the entire match, so there's still something in it for the quicks, and there's more in it now for the spinners than there was on the first 3 days. So you'd expect England to really be on the hunt for some wickets here after the break. Australia very much on top. And no ball. So that's not what you need when you're trying to restrict Australia to probably below 200 would have been the goal at the start of the innings. Now thinking just maybe bowl them out today. So 4 runs from the opening over. After the break, it's no wicket for 93. As Broad now bowls to Warner. Oh, and he's played that well. Lots of fielders in the deep and the offside, so they only get the one. As, again, the bat of Burns is beaten from this around the wicket angle. So England may have identified a flaw in Joe Burns' game. He looks susceptible to this around the wicket bowling from the right-handers. Pretty interesting. Not what you'd expect, as Warner beats the field, and that'll be his half century. Very well played. It's a tough period to be batting. It's the second innings of a test in England. World-class bowling attack, first test of the Ashes and of the Quarantine Cricket Championship, but he looks up for it. I can't say it's been chanceless, but he's made the most of his opportunities. And that's Test cricket for you. No wicket for 99, as Broad continues to Warner. leaves that one. And with that single, the 100 comes up for Australia, and with it, the 100 partnership between Dave Warner and Joe Burns. So very impressive from the Australian openers after a lean first innings, to say the least. And Warner content to continue working the singles. Burns has slowed down a bit, and I don't understand this. After the amount of pressure they were putting on him by going around the wicket, Anderson has now switched to just the standard over the wicket. Maybe Joe Root is 3 steps ahead of me. I don't know, but I can't say I understand it. None for 101. As Broad continues to Warner. Doesn't play the drive there. So he's still looking to survive. Not do anything too rash. And working the singles. Rotating the strike. Just good cricket. Burns finally gets something away. Just the one. But that should help his confidence. And well played by Warner. So no wicket for 103 as we see Ben Stokes return to the attack. Bowled pretty well in the opening session. And I think he took a couple of wickets in the first innings as well. So certainly no slouch with the ball. Oh, and he's clean bowled Dave Warner. Would you believe it? The bowling changes worked, and Dave Warner has to depart for a well-made 56, bringing Marnus Labuschagne to the crease. That really came out of nowhere. So credit to the English skipper for making the right change, and to Ben Stokes. And it's that around the wicket angle that has undone Dave Warner twice now. But since that wicket's been lost, Marnus has come out, edged one to get off the mark, and Burns has hit a wonderful 4. Eventful cricket going on here, even with the slowest highlights available. Watching every ball, there's too much happening for me to keep on top of all at once. Some short stuff from Broad. He wants wickets. Burns wants a half century, and he's only 1 run away. Oh, and he goes for it, and he's got there. So an excellent half century from Burns. Probably played better on the whole than Dave Warner did. As Labuschagne looking very unsettled at the crease. And that's probably the best result for him. Just get down the other end. Let Joey Burns take control of things. And Burns looking to assert his authority on the match. So another good over from Stokes. He's definitely been the pick of the bowlers in this innings. Stuart Broad hasn't been at his best so far, but he can strike at any moment. Good work from Labuschagne. Getting the runs ticking over. Big series for him as well. His first Ashes tour. And he got off to a promising start in the first innings, but ended up being dismissed in the 20s, if I'm remembering this correctly. So he'll also be looking to perform, because at this stage, of course, in early August 2019, he hadn't had his breakthrough months in the Test arena. So I don't think the cricket captain AI rates him particularly highly, to be honest. And that could be out. It looks out, and it is out. So looks like I was correct there. Marnus, one of the worst Test innings of this match. Constant edges, playing and missing. And Australia now 2 for 116 as Ben Stokes doing the damage here. But look at who it's brought to the crease. Steven Smith, 175 not out in the first innings, single-handedly got Australia into a strong position, and he's showing no signs of slowing down. Third ball, just belts it down the ground off the in-form bowler for 4 runs. So, no trepidation on Steve Smith's part, but you do feel as if the England bowlers are getting on top. A couple of breakthroughs from Ben Stokes. And a maiden over from Curran. So England having a good passage of play here. It's 2 for 120. Australia leading by 114 with 8 wickets in hand. You'd probably still prefer to be Australia, given the fact that they'll be bowling 4th. The pitch will only get worse. And they have gotten off to a pretty good start thanks to the openers. But you'd still think that they need to expand the lead quite considerably, and those sorts of shots will help. So Steve Smith taking a liking to the full ones from Ben Stokes. A couple of 4s down the ground to get himself going. Steve Smith yet to be dismissed in this series. Much like real life, England can't get him out. And another maiden from Curran to Burns keeps the score at 2 for 124 as we hit drinks. And this is interesting again, Stokes coming off and Jofra Archer being brought into the attack. Again, I'm unsure whether that's the right move. Stokes has looked world class. And Burns getting one away for a single. And Smith entering double figures already. So 2 for 127. Curran to Smith for the first time this innings. That's well played. 2 full probably. Works it for 1. Oh, and that's a great shot. Burns had slowed down a bit in recent overs, but he's put that one away well and truly. Picks up 4, well deserved. And gets down the other end. So things just starting to get a little easier in this over for the Australian batsmen. But still a lot of work ahead. 2 for 134. Archer to Smith. Well bowled. That's a good line, I'd say. Steve Smith clearly looking to score. Will he be tempted into playing a shot that he doesn't need to? Not so far. It's 2 for 135. It's well played. Smith looking comfortable all around the ground. Two straight. Burns gets that away for a single. It would be certainly interesting if both Burns, Rory and Joe made tons in the same test match. How many times would something like that happen? Have to fire up Cricinfo after this day. Check out if that's happened before. Two players with the same name. Burns gets one as Jimmy Anderson has come back into the attack. He's been very much overused, I'd say, by England. And Anderson and Broad just haven't looked at their best this innings. We've seen a lot more from Stokes, Curran, even Moeen, who's coming back on, just as I say it. So an interesting angle. No one in close to the bat. So I presume they're expecting Burns to start slogging, but I don't think there's been any indication that that will be the case. I think he'll be very content with scoring in ones into the outfield. They do have a slip in place for Steve Smith, and I guess that's a short, fine leg. I don't know what on earth that's for. Two from the over. So Anderson will continue to Smith. Australia leading by 134. These two starting to get going together at the crease. Smith showing no signs of slowing down since the first innings. And a no ball. 3 runs. And the extra delivery, Smith has made them pay. So a few additional runs there, that over, which weren't necessary from an England perspective. 2 for 145 now. Moeen with the change of angle, bowling a doozer there, it looked like. Keeping things tight with Burns on strike. That one's pretty wayward, but Burns can't do anything with it. And another wide one completes the maiden. So Anderson will come back, bowling to Smith. Can he turn things around for himself? That's much better from him. He looks most threatening when he's pitching it up. Smith able to work that away. And this is actually where he looked pretty threatening to Burns. going around the wicket. Not if he bowls there though. That's put away easily, bringing up the 150 for Australia in their second innings for the loss of 2 wickets. So Australia would be pretty pleased with how things have gone for them so far on day 4. It was certainly anyone's game heading into the day, but I'd give them the edge at the moment, as Burns lets loose just for one. And pretty frequent bowling changes now from the English. Looks like they don't have a clear plan, if you ask me. Moeen, unfortunate not to get more of a bowl. We saw Curran for a bit, looking alright. Didn't really continue. Stokes took 2 wickets, brought off after a fairly short spell. So England all over the place. And Steve Smith continuing to accumulate runs. Will they get him out at any point in this series? I know it's early, but the question has to be asked. He looks immovable from the crease. As Broad back into the attack yet again. As we move towards the tea break. And Burns plays that nicely down the ground. 4 runs. What a good shot. Not that bad a delivery. But the placement and timing was superb. And that brings the Australian lead past 150. Still with 8 wickets in hand. And this is what I like to see. Well, not really as an Australian, but this is what I would like to see as an England fan, which is Ben Stokes, the danger man, getting another bowl. It's a shame for England to only get a couple of overs before tea. Smith, unfazed, smashes that through the onside for 4. What a shot. So, 4 from that over. And a no ball. England getting a bit sloppy. So the Australians will be looking to survive until tea, and then probably get a bit of a move on, considering they have so many wickets in hand. Just looking to up the ante a bit after the break, get some runs on the board, make sure they have enough time to bowl England out, as this should be the last over until the tea break. Stokes to bowl it, and the batsman just able to get these singles away. Once again. I don't think the field is anywhere near aggressive enough. They don't even have a slip. And it's the last over before tea with the danger man Stokes bowling. That could be out. Is he hit that, has he? No. I don't believe that. There's no way he got bat on that. Look at this. That's missed the bat completely. No reviews in this game, so I'll just have to accept that. And Steve Smith departs for 28. Stokes gets the job done again, but I can't believe that. I'll be having words with the match referee. Anyway, that's T. Australia 3 for 168. Still, you'd have to say, on top of things. Burns 73 not out. And Stokes with all 3 wickets. So the lead 162, 7 wickets in hand. Gee, it's still pretty much anyone's game. So I think what I'll do is Matthew Wade will take the unselfish approach and try to do a job for his country here. Burns plays that nicely for 1, getting himself underway in the 3rd session here on day 4. It's well played by Wade to get himself off the mark. Good start from Broad. It's 3 for 170. As Anderson, who else? Forget about Stokes taking 3 wickets in 10 overs. Let's just get these 2 old timers back again after every single break. I'll certainly take it as an Australian. Neither of them have been bowling that well this innings, but obviously they're still dangerous. And Wade, maybe not where he wanted to place it, but he'll get back for 2. So some good batting there from the Australians. 4 from the over, 3 for 174. So the plan for the Australians is very much to just be there at the end of the day with a lead of hopefully 250, 260, and enough wickets in hand so that tomorrow on day 5 they'll be able to score another 50 runs or so, get the lead up to 300 plus, and then have the goal would be about 5 hours, so 2 sessions and a half to bowl England out on a pitch that's a bowler's paradise. You may not like it, but I think the way this test match is played out, I would prefer to play to avoid a loss than to risk losing the match unnecessarily in order to improve chances of winning. I don't see any benefit in Wade and Burns just going out here and slogging it. The reason I say that is because of the bowling conditions and also the fact that this is the first test of an Ashes series in England. Australia, really, they're always going to be the underdogs to some extent. So I'm not going to be playing for a draw. We're still looking to win, but I will be taking a more cautious approach than maybe I would normally in this situation. So Burns and Wade working in ones after the break. It's 3 for 179. Anderson continues to Burns. That's a good delivery. And we're looking at yet another important passage of play here. If England can snag a couple of wickets in this first hour of the final session, they're very much back in the match. But Wade, what a shot. Elegant cover drive, picks up 4. You would have to say that Australia has been the better team today, on the whole, due in large part to Joe Burns, who's on 78 now. I figure that he'll be the guy that the other players bat around. Wade and Head are more naturally aggressive than him, so if Burns can just stay at one end picking up the singles, then Wade and Head can go on the attack rather, at the other end. So that's a good over from Broad, 3 for 185. Anderson now to Burns. The second new ball should be available soon for England, so not sure why these two are just using up more energy. Maybe Stokes gets the new ball the way he's bowled. Should have had 4 wickets if you include the dropped catch. So tidy over there, just the 2 singles from it. It's 3 for 187. As Broad beats the bat of Wade, but some dismal wicket keeping by Bairstow allows them to run through for a single. Would you believe it? Burns happy to get down the other end. So, a pretty economical spell here for Anderson and Broad. 3 for 189. And here is the danger man, Ben Stokes, back into the attack. Will he claim another victim? Sam Curran barely sighted in this innings after a pretty good performance in the first dig. Don't know what's going on there. Maiden over, well bowled from Stokes. It's 3 for 189 still. And speak of the devil, here's Sam Curran back on. And at some point, I might have to consider raising the aggression of Matthew Wade even more. I'm always hesitant to do that, getting up to 4 bars in a test match, particularly when he's not really settled. But the pressure is on to score some runs. And he's not playing too well at the moment. Curran beats the bat. Three for 189. So after another maiden over, Matthew Wade, I'm sorry, you've got to do a job for the team. That's better from Burns. Unlucky not to get a boundary there. Gee, Wade not looking too comfortable, must be said. That's more like it. Smashes that through the leg side for 4. Waits for the one that's too straight and puts it away. And again, that should find the ropes as well. So upping the ante, dangerous, but paid off in that over for Matthew Wade as the score moves to 3 for 198. Tricky period for Joe Burns though. He's in the 80s. Moving along pretty slowly, it must be said. But he just needs to be there at the end of the day. tidy over. It's 3 for 199. So I wonder if a way to minimise the impact of Stokes is for Wade to play more aggressively. It's not something that's been tried this match so far. Maybe that's the way to get on top of him, reduce his impact on the game. He's looking pretty solid to Joe Burns though. Until then. But that packed offside boundary doesn't allow it to get through. So it's 3 for 200 now, with just over an hour to go in day 4. Burns picking up a single. And the only real concern for the Australians right now is that run rate. I still think it was the right move to play pretty conservatively throughout the day, as Burns plays all around that and is clearly out LBW, going on to hit middle stump. Poor shot, and he misses out on a century. So 85 for Joe Burns. Good innings, very important innings. But he has to depart, and that brings Travis Head to the crease. So these two, we know exactly what the plan will be, and that's pile on 50 quick runs, 4 stumps, I guess. Easier said than done though, on a pitch that's favouring the bowlers, and Ben Stokes, who's very much in form. That one's missing the stumps. Sam Curran will have his confidence boosted by that dismissal as well. So there is a big risk of losing wickets in this period of play, with England putting the pressure on and 2 fairly unsettled batsmen trying to score quick runs. Here's Moeen into the attack. Pretty interesting, given that Curran just took a wicket. And that's a good shot. Matthew Wade picks the gap excellently. 4 runs for his trouble, and the lead extends past 200. Oh, shot. He smashed that over the field for 6. Travis Head out of the blocks, and this decision to turn to spin at this stage of the day, I have to say it might have been Joe Root's worst. The pressure was on. Sam Curran taking the wicket of Burns, the set batsman, and with 12 from that over, the pressure is far less significant on the batsman. 4 for 215, and Head tries to smash that one. Probably not the ball for it. Bit too far outside off. But I like the intent. These two know how to play some shots. And that's good running as well. Shot. He has smashed that down the ground. 4 runs. Travis Head. After a 70 odd in the first innings. He looks like he's going to make this Ashes tour one to remember for him. And he's doing so unselfishly at a stage of the game where Australia need him to do a job for the team. Oh, Matthew Wade doesn't look like he's in his best form, must be said. But he's put that one away too short, and it beats the fielder hit with so much force. And the man at deep cover just couldn't get there. So another good over for Australia, 5 from it. It's now 4 for 226. And as they always do when things get tough, they've turned back to Jimmy Anderson. As soon as he has enough fitness, enough stamina to walk towards the start of his bowling run-up, he's given the ball. Well worked by Wade to third man for a single. Probably could have snuck one there as well. But the new ball available at the end of next over, you'd expect them to take it. As Moeen gets one more. Looks like a bit of a full toss there. Wade not playing that aggressively. He gets down the other end, takes the one. Oh, and he's nicked off. Plays the sweep, and it flies up to slip, where Pope takes the catch. Travis Head out for a quick fire 13. He looked really promising. And that brings the skipper Tim Paine to the crease. So 35 minutes left. He's going to have to sacrifice some of his natural defensive game for the betterment of the team. He's the skipper. He's got to lead by example. And Moeen with a breakthrough after a pretty expensive over recently. And that's just a good shot. Down the ground, 4 runs. Australia 5 for 233. They're not taking the new ball, even though Anderson's on. And Paine happy to get down the other end. It's good batting. So, just over half an hour left in the day's play. Wade and Paine grew up as childhood friends, I believe, in Tasmania. Now they're batting together in the Ashes. 5 for 234. Here is the new ball with Stuart Broad. And good running there from the skipper and Matthew Wade. Oh, what a shot. Didn't look there for the pull, but he seems to have just bunted that one down the ground. Matthew Wade, stand and deliver. New ball, no matter, says Matty Wade, as the scoreboard keeps ticking over. Six from the over. Very good from the Australians. It's 5 for 240. Wade able to work that away for one. Too short, too wide from Anderson. Needs to be challenging that outside edge. Or probably actually the front pad. That's where he's had his success this match. Paine. This is what they need from him. Keeping the scoreboard ticking over. Getting down the other end. Quick singles. Letting Matthew Wade play shots like that. Got off to a shaky start, but he's looking on now. Looks like he's really settled in. 5 for 246. Paine plays that one into the onside for one. And he's put that away as well. It beats the fielder. Probably should have done better there, the man at mid-off. But it's 4 runs for Australia. And the 250 comes up for the loss of 5 wickets. So Australia has looked to attack the new ball, and so far it has worked a treat, scoring at a runner ball clip. Oh, Matthew Wade's past 50. My apologies, Matthew. Should have had more awareness of that. What an innings. Shaky early on, settled in, and has done what the team needed him to do in very trying conditions. So he's another one whose spot in the team is, probably less secure than some of the established players. But he's certainly made a name for himself and continues to do so. He looks world class down the ground. Anything too straight, he'll put it away. Back where it came from. So 6 more from that over. It's now 5 for 259. The lead has passed 250, which is where I wanted it to be at the end of the day. So it's already a success. Day 4. Well played by Payne. He looks pretty comfortable out there. Broad, radar off. So we've got 5 overs left in the day. It seems to have been extended a bit, probably because they've bowled barely any spin, even on day 4 when the pitch is turning. That's just Joe Root for you. Moeen even took a wicket. Poor guy doesn't get another crack. But this man took the first 3. Ben Stokes. Danger man, if ever there was one. Oh, and that could be out. No, he got home. Wow, pretty close. Take the single though, 5 for 262, late on day 4 of the first Ashes test. Payne should be looking for a single, get down the other end, let the set batsman do what he needs to, but take the runs where available. That should be 2, I think, leg byes. In any case, it's 5:58, but the game has indicated they will be playing a little longer to get the overs in. As Payne retains the strike, maybe he's trying to protect the set batsman from getting out late in the day. Who knows? Take the runs were available though. And Matthew Wade has been waiting at the other end for who knows how long. And the moment he's on strike, he puts that away through covers for 4. Great aggressive batting. And good running as well. Five for 271. 2 overs left in the day. Stokes to Wade. Oh, that flies off the edge, but no slips in place. Single to third man. Looks like Tim Payne played that one off the back foot. Another single. Oh, and Wade has belted that, and it's gone through the fielder's legs. Would you believe it? After the day England have had, that just makes it even worse. Unbelievable. In an Ashes test, no less. I wonder who that was. Probably Archer. So last over of the day. Stuart Broad to bowl it. What a surprise. And he's bowling to Matthew Wade. Plays that down to third man. So it will probably be the responsibility of Tim Paine to see off the last 4 balls of the day. Now down to 3. Obviously, there's never a good time to lose wickets in a test match, but sort of doesn't matter at this point if Australia loses another wicket late in the day. They've done what they need to, and just the cherry on top, the day ends with a 4 down the ground from Tim Paine, as if to say, my team is on top. So, at the end of day 4, Australia in a commanding position at 5 for 283. I couldn't really have asked for that day to go any better than it did. Warner and Burns made half centuries out of the blocks. Burns stuck around for a lot longer. Very important innings from him. Not much from Labuschagne. Looked very poor out there. Steve Smith, probably unfortunate to get out. I thought it was clearly missing the bat. But anyway, he made 28. And then Matthew Wade, probably the best innings of the day. 72 not out. Just 99 deliveries. Doing exactly what the team needed. Travis Head, quickfire 13. And Tim Paine, a very confident 16 not out. So, as for the bowlers, you can see Broad and Anderson with 51 overs between them and 0 wickets. So Joe Root will have a lot of questions to answer at the press conference tonight, you'd imagine. Ben Stokes, pick of the bowlers, 3 for 60. Archer, not much of a chance. Curran and Moeen took wickets, but didn't really get much of a crack either. So, in terms of the partnerships, 104 between the openers, 52 between Burns and Smith, and then not out 55, Wade and Paine, childhood friends. So, the situation heading into the final day is Australia leads by 277 runs with 5 wickets in hand. So, an England win is looking unlikely. My strategy as Australia will be to pile on the runs for 1 hour and then declare and have a crack at the England batsmen. Try and get the win. So thank you very much for watching. I'm Brian Jackson, and I'll see you next time for more of the Quarantine Cricket Championship.